All right, welcome back, students. This is our third and final part of the Grisaille painting, and this is a view of my palette at the end. Here's a quick view of kind of my setup, the painting, still life, and my palette all right there. So we've got the photo on the left, we've got the painting on the right. It's a little bit more zoomed in now, so you can kind of see it a little bit better. So the first thing that I'm doing as I kind of get back into painting is I'm adding darker values to the background. You'll notice that my background that I'm adding is different than what you see. I've got a little treadmill in the background. It's kind of like my makeshift basement studio. Um, what you can do with all your backgrounds is kind of make choices that make sense for how to make your objects look the best. So I'm always telling my students in the painting class, you don't have to paint exactly what you see in the background. You can kind of change it and simplify it so that your objects become the most important parts. So what I'm doing here is I'm trying to go in and add those darker tones to the bottle. And so a lot of times, most of this is a little bit wet. So what I'm going to be doing is I'll add a little bit of almost straight black paint, and then you'll see me kind of blend and move my brush to the side to blend it in one direction and then maybe start to paint in another direction. So that's a good way to kind of add some paint in. So you make a stroke and then you go across that stroke to blend it in. And if you look back at the videos on painting a sphere and a cylinder and a cube, you'll see some of that technique repeated. Here I am trying to add some of the texture. So basically this little table that I have things set up on has a bunch of little wooden square tiles. So I'm trying to show the grain of the wood, the different directions. And they've kind of gone through and done one in one direction, then they turn it. In the other direction, then they turn it. Here I am starting to go back into the writing on the label, and I am trying to be a little bit more specific this time than last time. Last time I just did some little squiggle marks, and I am kind of doing that, but I'm not trying to be too wild with that. I'm starting to look at what actually is written there. And the name Woodland is really big, so that's one where I might try to copy the shapes that those make. There's big hop nuggets on both left and right side. I might try to copy that shape to try and make it look more like what it is. Going back and kind of reestablishing some edges on the shark, some shadows, trying to make the eye pop out to the shadows where the light turns down and underneath versus where the light hits up on the top edge. And you'll notice there's a little bit of different angle, different view. It's pretty hard to always take a photograph of the exact way that you see the object. So I see it differently than maybe just the photo portrays. And we're trying to paint all these objects ideally by looking at them and not by trying to paint a photo. That said, I will provide photos for all the assignments. In case you don't have room or objects to set up, there will be something for you to choose from every time, some different choices so you can make your painting. So it looks like we're almost to the end of this session and almost to the end of the painting. We've got the reflections in the bottle. We've got some darker shadows at the bottom. We're kind of looking at the little details and kind of trying to make edges a little crisper and kind of figure things out. So thanks for tuning in.